Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and today I want to play the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era by Chip Theory Games. I don't know the name of the designer, to be honest. Take a look at this huge, massive and really beautiful box here. I mean, it just looks absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. It's huge. It's really big. If you take my hand for comparison, I mean, it's totally crazy. I gotta say, I'm a little bit scared to do this playthrough. First of all, it's really in the hotness, this game, and tons of people, all kinds of professional channels, they do playthroughs of the game. I have no background in playing any chip theory games. I've never done that. I've never played too many Bones, which seems to be the predecessor of that game. And I've also never played the Elder Scrolls, so I have no idea about the lore. And I'm just gonna basically take this as an adventure game, like I would play things like, I don't know, Runebound or whatever. So there's not a lot of background here, and I'm also pretty sure that I'm going to do a lot of mistakes, simply because I only played this game for maybe, I don't know, 5 hours. I basically played a single session. But I wanted to do a video now because I feel like I want to do it now, and I don't want to approach the game again and start all over. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's time to do that. Okay, so let's set up the game. Okay, I really want to do this together with you right from the start, because there's a lot going on, and also setup has a couple of decisions and a couple of ways we can go. So there is an introduction scenario which suggests to start in Black Marsh, one of the provinces of Tamriel, which is the continent where this whole game takes place. I did that, so I don't want to do it immediately again, right? I mean, there is a lot more than just one scenario in here, but I want to put that aside for now. And we have now here from BGG, which is extremely helpful, we have this 4-page player aid here, and whoever did that, I really want to thank him, because this is already something that the game is lacking. And let's go through the setup here step by step. So first we're going to think about a province, and now we got 5 provinces left, and I'm simply going to take a die and we'll see what we get here. Okay, that is going to be Skyrim, and of course most people will know that. It's a very successful computer game. I remember now that I actually played Morrowind, I don't know, maybe like 15 or 20 years ago. At least it feels like this. Maybe even, might be even longer. Was definitely before I started playing board games. I don't remember anything about that, but I just played it for 5 hours or something. I'm not good in playing campaign games on board games, and I'm definitely not good in playing them on PC games, right? I just start playing them for a couple of hours, watch the graphics, play a little around with the system, and then I'm not patient enough anymore. Okay, anyway, so we're gonna play in Skyrim, which means we have to find the map. And you can see, got a lot going on here. We got a lot of maps, And so here we are. This is Western Skyrim, and this is Eastern Skyrim. And already I'm not quite sure if this all counts as a single province or if we have... Now it seems like here's Western. Well, we got to figure that out. Okay, so we got the map, we got the gazetteer, and the gazetteer contains some introduction about the province itself, and then specific rules for every province. So they all work a little bit different, they have a little bit of a different theme. Then you have the different towns of the province, and also these towns all give you a bit of a different different options, sometimes specific actions, sometimes you can visit an inn, sometimes you can't, there are shops that might be closed, others that might be open, and so forth. And then you got, I think, 9 different guilds in all of these provinces, and you choose a guild, and that will then send you on a specific adventure. And this is basically then the second part of the gazetteer that gives you all the different adventure paths for each guild. Okay, so then it says here, add all general and all province specific enemies to bags. So we got 2 bags here, and of course, you know, the quality is just amazing. I mean, this is really beautiful fabric, not just some plastic crap. This is a very high quality game when it comes to components. It's also really expensive, but really, really beautiful. So in this bag you can see, this is the symbol for monsters. We have the level 1 and the level 5 monsters in here. And we have quite a few. I want to show that. Let me show that to you, that you get an idea. These are here the different level 1 and 5 monsters, and they are double-sided, and they are different on each side. So, I don't know, I assume maybe we got like, hard to tell, it might be 10, maybe like 20 chips, and they're double-sided, so you got like 40 monsters here, level 1 and level 5, and then they want us, we got additional monsters, and I think it's basically 2 chips for every province. And you can see down here this little, for example, VW is for Wayland Wood, which is an expansion. And let me see what we got here. SK, I assume that is Skyrim. So let's find these. There is another one here. Yep. Okay. I guess it's just 2, yeah. And then we have level 10 and level 20 monsters. And there we also have to find the specific ones. And I think we also have probably 2, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, these 2. Okay, so these are the 4 chips, the 4 monsters, the 8 monsters that we have to add to our bags here. Okay, then we have add skill lines to skill bag. If playing true solo, remove duplicates. Now I want to play 2-handed, so I'm not going to do that. And this here is the skill bag, and we got a couple of, ooh, you cannot see that I guess, or can you? I got a couple of skill lines in here. And then we have to create the Overland decks. So, okay, we got peaceful encounters. These are, there we go. Oh. So, these are these blue cards here. And this is here the fluff text. And then on the back it says exactly what the encounter wants you to do. So we got peaceful encounters. And we got these encounters here. We got always 8 province-specific encounter cards. And then we have 4 randomly selected general encounter cards. I think there are like 20 general encounter cards of each type. You shuffle them, you get 4 of them, and then you add the 8 other cards and form a deck. Okay, I was actually wrong here. You only have overall 20 general cards. So only 10 of each type are general cards, and from these you take 4 and then add the 8 province specific cards, and that then builds here a peaceful and a battle encounter deck. Now what I'm going to do is when I draw an encounter, I'm going to draw from the back so that I don't know what it is. And this card holder also comes with the game, by the way. Really nice quality. And then we have to do our delve deck. So basically a dungeon deck. Set aside any special province-specific delve cards labeled SP. So that's special. And then shuffle all general delve cards and other province-specific delve cards to form a delve deck. Okay, so I shuffled all the card decks. This is the delve deck. This is a mission deck for side quests that are in addition to the story quests that you get from your gazetteer. You get these side quests here, and then we have here the legendary items with the chest here, and here with this bag we have the common items. All right. Okay, so then we got here, this is fancy stuff here. This here is magnetic. That's really cool. And these are counters, and this is here for experience of your party, and this is the day that you're playing, or basically a turn counter. And we start obviously on day 1, and we have at the beginning 2 experience. Now you could play this with a introduction scenario, a jailbreak scenario in the tradition of the Elder Scrolls games, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start with the right scenario right away, and this die here is that counts combat turns, so for the moment it doesn't really matter. I just place it down here. Okay, and then select party difficulty level. So I'm going to play that on Adept. I've heard that it's, or many players complain that it is too easy, that the game is far too easy. It's hard. It's a little harder at the beginning. Then during mid-game it's really easy, and then maybe at the end it's a little harder. And I've heard a lot of complaints about that. Now there was a reaction from Chip Theory. They basically already gave you official rules to modify that you can download. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to play on Adept. I have a feeling that because I never played too many Bones, and I also don't have a lot of experience in this one, I think I'm fine playing an Adept game here. And then we gotta select race, basically classes, and so on. And I'm gonna do this off camera. Partly I will actually randomize that, but I will try that I'm not gonna play with, I don't know, like 2 magic classes or something like that. So just wanted to show you, these are all the races. So there is a ton. Now, however, there's always 2 of each type, so that if there are multiple players who want to play the same race, that is possible. So you maybe have half of these. I don't know, maybe you got like, I would assume maybe like 10 races or something. And then you also have a ton of classes, and they are all different here. So that might be like, I don't know, maybe another 20 or something like that. Okay, so I think I successfully created the characters. I play with a dark elf, and you can see here he's got these specific stats. He's got 4 health, and this is here represented on my player mat. So every character has a player mat like that, and the 4 health, this is indicated here by this marker here. And this is also pretty fancy, right? You can place the stuff all in here. Then you got 2 stamina. And so stamina basically indicate, this is shown here, it's these 2 markers, how far a character can walk during combat, how far he can move, and how far he can shoot, and also how many dice he's allowed basically during melee combat to roll. Then he's got 3 magicka, so these 3, and that indicates how many dice he's allowed to roll during magic combat. Then he has these 2 combat dice here, and these are simply, well, it's not only that not only must you be allowed to roll the dice, you also have to have them available, and he only has these 2 combat dice available. And then he's got these 2 dice here, and they come from this skill line destruction staff. So, okay, this is already going a little bit out of hand here. So let's talk about this thing here a little more. So this is health, stamina, magic. Okay, great. The others are skill lines. So here we have a combat skill line that all character classes share. Everybody has a combat skill line, which is basically just your, I don't know, your sword combat or whatever. And they have, this is a specific skill line which is also indicated on this race sheet, different to the other skill lines. So this is here, and you can basically choose where you want to place these markers. Now the thing is, you can grow these stats and the skill lines. Now, because I don't plan too much to go on combat, I decided to share this with this here, and they can somehow, I don't know, maybe meet here somewhere in the middle. So there is a restriction. If you want to have a lot of health here, for example, you can have less combat, and the other way around. And that's the way it is or through here. So I can place more skill lines here, but then I have to consider that that might or that will decrease the option how far I can go with the opposite skill line, if that makes any sense. Okay, so the combat is pretty basic. I mean, the combat skill line basically allows you to roll a die and add that much damage as indicated here in the lower corner. So usually it's 1, but you also have a 2, and it's shown here, and 1 result doesn't do any damage. So you get 4 times a 1 and 1's a 2. Now there is also a way to go in a defensive combat stance, and then you can use the result to later prevent that much damage from an attack. So that's what the combat does. And the destruction staff comes with different levels. So you see level 1, 2, and then on the back we have level 3 and even level 4. Now you start obviously with level 1, and there are different dice here. And so this level 1 die shows here a 1 on the upper left, you can see that, and later you can get more advanced dice, and they will have another number and also different symbols then. And so you can see this die here has, for example, it shows 3 times, that's what the dots indicate, 3 times this symbol, and that means deal 2 damage to your target. It has 1 time this symbol here, deal 4 damage to your target and 1 true damage to any one adventurer. That's not that great. And then we have here gain 2 tenacity and deal 1 true damage to any one adventurer. Now that makes 5 sides. I wonder if there is a tenacity. Yeah, there is also this side here, which is basically no damage then at all. So yeah, that is the force shock. That is the ability that he has with these 2 dice using his destruction staff, and I placed this down here so I have enough room to upgrade this quite a bit. Okay, we start with 0 experience, 0 tenacity, we'll get to this later, and we have 2 cooldown, we'll get to this later. This guy is a sorcerer, and he starts at novice. And again, we will, I'm going to explain later how that all works out. So this guy here is an Argonian, so kind of a reptiloid dude, and he's a rogue. So we don't have a real tank, we just have basically a sorcerer and a rogue. We'll see how that plays. And so he's got a health of 5, he's got a pretty good health. Stamina 3, that's also fine, it's better than the other guy. Magicka only 2, that's not quite as good. Combat 1, that's terrible, he only has a single combat dice here. And then a cooldown of 2, which I have to mark. I didn't take the packs here. So gotta place that here as an indicator. Here he can then choose the battle forms. I'm just going to place that somewhere. And of course we also have 0 experience and 0 tenacity. All right. What he does have is he's got the one hand and shield skill line. So he starts on level 1, which is shield discipline. So he's got 2 dice, and you always start with 2 dice in your first skill line. So he's got 2 dice, and when you roll the die, you place him in one of these active slots here. That's what this A here indicates. And it says, when you place this die in an active slot, deal X damage. So depending on the number here in the lower right, deal X damage to your target. When you are dealt damage by an enemy, you may exhaust this die to prevent X damage. Okay, and it's kind of similar to the standard combat die. You have 4 times 1, 1 times 2, and then you have here nothing. And you can also see here, to use these dice you have to go into a specific battle form. So this is this sword. And over here, it's the magic form here that we have to choose if we want to use these dice. The combat dice cannot be used in the magic form, but they can be used in the sword form. Okay, so these are the characters. Okay, so now let's read a little about Skyrim. The frigid homeland of the Nords, Skyrim has been sundered in two in the wake of the Three Banners War and the rise of the Dark Anchors. Eastern Skyrim is ruled by Joran, the Skald King, and has joined the Ebonheart Pact, while Western Skyrim stands alone, fending off Reach folk to the south and fighting off vampires from the corridors of Black Reach below Skyrim's surface. Recently, a new problem has faced both halves of the region. A series of unprovoked, mysterious attacks on Skyrim's settlements led by an army that appears to be made up from creatures from within Black Reach. Vampires, hag ravens, and other ominous beings, even the fabled snow ghost, creatures known as Falmer, have participated in these brief sieges, but to what end, no one is sure. Alright, so as already mentioned, each of these maps has its own overland mechanics, and this one here is that towns might be under siege. So we will just a second here. Okay, so we're gonna need this marker here, and we're gonna place that under siege key on the overland map. Do we place it here? I'm not sure. Place a token next to the key. Okay, so we're gonna place it here, and during the game, at the end of every day, we're gonna randomly determine which towns are under siege, and we're gonna find one of these symbols that we'll see here underneath the towns, and then these towns are besieged. And when we will enter a besieged town, we're gonna have to fight inside the town to do any of these town actions that are possible. So usually when you enter a town, this just happens basically in an abstract way. I mean, you just move your guy in here, and then you are inside the town and you can do town stuff in there. But here you actually might really enter a map of the town. I think that's really funny, and it is really unique. I thought that I didn't really think that the Overland mechanics was so different. The first one I played was pretty simple. There was just kind of a weather marker down here, and you had sunny weather, kind of medium weather, and terrible weather, and it basically just had a little bit of an impact about how far you could travel. So that wasn't that terribly exciting. It was okay, it was simple, and yeah, it was nice, but this is really something different here and interesting. So we also have a specific native skill. There are units that have the keyword native, and they work different depending on which map you play. And here we have freeze. When this unit determines a target, its target must move one item from a ready slot to their pack. If the party is currently in an under siege town, the target must move all items to their pack. Okay. Then I've randomly drawn 3 of the 9 what's the word? Guild cards, and we gotta choose now a guild that we want to work with. So we got the Circle of Champions. So let's turn that around here. The Circle of Champions, Tamriel's premier professional fighting organization, is renowned for running dangerous tournaments and battlegrounds across the land. The Circle of Champions is always in need of new gladiators. Okay, that's not the career we're aiming for here. We got the Eyes of the Queen. Though nominally in service to the Aldmary's Dominion Queen Aeren, the Eyes often act as independent operatives. Striking from the shadows, these spies do what they think is best for Tamriel, no matter the cost. Now this sounds actually pretty interesting. We got our rogue here, and the Argonian. So that, I don't know, that's kind of a shadow dude, I feel. So this is a real option here. And then we got this Psijic Order. The Psijic Order is a secretive sect dedicated to studying magic in what its members call the old ways, whether providing advice to kings or establishing safeguards over spellcasting. This enigmatic group is one of the most powerful organizations on Nirn. I don't know what Nirn is, but it sounds powerful. Okay, we're going to go with one of these two, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply roll a die here. So 1 to 3 is the Psijic Order, and 4 to 6 is the Eyes of the Queen. Oh, let's do that again. Okay, so we take the Eyes of the Queen. There we go. So this is a specific ability. Reconnoiter. Oh man, I've never heard that word. For your guild kiosk town action. So you basically always get a special action in a town if you belong to a for your guild. Look at the top 2 cards of either the Peaceful or Conflict Overland deck. In any order, place each card on either the top or bottom of the deck. Oh, that is neat. That's cool. All right. So now what we got to do is we go back here, and I think it would have been okay to actually check out the starting quest of each of these guilds before we make a choice. I think the rules allow that, but okay, now let's simply go with these with the Eyes of the Queen. So now we gotta find the starting quest in here, and you can see here is the name of the guild. Let's see what we need. That's not here. Undaunted. Psych order. There we go. Wow, that's a big one. Okay, and I love the way this is bound here. It's really easy to place the book in a way that it doesn't fold together again and all. I really like that. Okay, so let's see. Razumdar, the head of the Eyes of the Queen, meets you at the pre-appointed time near the local Wayshire. The Khajiit tries to put on his normal roguish demeanor, but you can tell from the glint of his eye that the job he has for you means a great deal. The Eyes have been presented with an opportunity to kill 2 Hackwings with 1 stone, he says. There is a Nord who roams western Skyrim and fancies himself the Jarl of the Wilds, claims to oversee and provide for the travelers and forgotten people who navigate the wastes and bitter cold of this ice-blasted land. He shivers. Anyway, we have evidence that this so-called upstanding Jarl, Fenreld Kjennarik, has been ferrying supplies underground to the creatures who have been launching attacks on Skyrim cities. Bad for our operations, bad for everybody. Raz continues. He is about to be taken care of, permanently. But that is not your concern. There is a scoundrel of a Reachman operating in western Skyrim named Break the Bloody. We have learned that he has been capturing 3 Bannersworth soldiers from Cyrodiil and turning them into Briarhearts. God, I don't know what any of that means. If you don't know the lore, it's really weird. This ritual, which involves replacing a person's heart with the seed of the Briarheart tree, is usually used to empower Reach folk to protect their clans. However, it can be used to turn someone against their will, even non-Reach folk. This break has a predilection for performing this procedure on unwilling, he shudders, Khajiit. A friend of Raz on the front has fallen victim to this heinous crime. Now you understand Raz's demeanor. This is personal to him. To cover any tracks for those who are eliminating Jarl Fenreld Kjennarik, we would like to pin his death on his Break the Bloody, involving a Reachman in the slaying of a prominent Nord is sure to bring down local law on him, and 2 villains of Western Skyrim will be taken off the board. The Nords will think it was all their idea. The first thing Raz needs you to do is track down a lead on evidence we can use to link Break to Kjennarik. Alright, that sounds all pretty complicated, but I think we'll get it done. So, we have a starting location for that, Markarth in western Skyrim. Okay, so first we need our adventure token, our party token here, and we gotta find what's the name? Markarth? Markarth. Here it is, down there. Okay, so we place our marker here, and we got to set aside the quest unit Break the Bloody. Okay, so we got to find that. Okay, so this is Break the Bloody, and you can see here the white units. These are all specific quest units, so they don't go into any of these bags. And we're just gonna place him here for the moment. Okay, quest objective. Travel to Carth Weston, Lost Valley Redoubt, or Rebels Retreat, and initiate a town encounter. This is recommended by day 3. Okay, great. So I want to place some markers just to remember what we got to do here. Let me see. I don't know if that's actually what you use them for, but I did that before. So yeah, let's use these 3. Okay, so I think the first one was this Lost Valley Redoubt. What else do we have? Rebels Retreat and Carth Weston. Oh, it's right here. Okay, that is not so far. And Carth Weston is up here. Right. During the town encounter, you must gather a lead by resolving one of the following options. Bribing witnesses. As a group town action, discard a number of weapons, legendary weapons, equal to, wow, that's rough, equal to the number of players. So that would be, it's not easy to find. Yeah, so it's weapons type legendary items, basically. Oh. Coercing allies. Defeat all enemies. This option is only available during an under siege town encounter. Okay, so that is maybe a little easier. Intimidating townspeople. As a group town action, succeed as a social check. The group value times 4, so 8. Adventurers cannot roll speech skill dice during this social check, but may roll combat skill dice as if they are speech skill dice. Adventurers do not gain tenacity from tenacity results. Alright, and oh man, then there's more going on. Depending on the town, resolve the following modifications to the above options. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's see. Carth Weston. When bribing witnesses, one adventurer may roll a number of available, I don't even know what that means, type skill dice equal to the number of, okay, I don't know what that means. If no tenacity results are rolled, reduce the number of items that need to be discarded by 1. Regardless to the result, these skill dice are exhausted and all other adventurers must gain light fatigue equal to the number of dice rolled. I gotta find out what that is. These are brown dice. Maybe these are even these dice. That would be cool. Huh. I don't think so though. Okay, yeah, that actually took me a while to figure out. Down here at the bottom, and usually you look at the top, right? I mean, I look at the top and not at the bottom. Here you can see some of the skill lines do actually have these type of dice, and these are thief skill lines. So the rogue also has that, but that doesn't give me the dice. It's because I have a kind of a combat skill line with this red symbol here. So if I get a skill line that has one of these thief abilities, then I would gain these dice. So for the moment, I cannot really use that. Lost Valley Redoubt. When coercing allies, enemies deal 1 fewer damage to non-adjacent party members who are occupying buildings. Defeat all enemies. This option is only available during an under siege town encounter. Okay, so that would mean I would move down here, right? Then they would be a little less dangerous. Rebels Retreat. When intimidating townspeople, speech dice may be rolled as normal. Combat skill dice may still be rolled as well. Oh. Rebels retreat. So that would be here. Okay. So I think I can travel to one of these towns. No, I don't think so, actually. I think I have to do this. So I don't think I can travel to one of these towns without doing one of these encounters. I think if I travel to one of these towns, I have to do that. So I cannot visit a town and just do standard town stuff there in one of these. That's how I understand it. I think this is what I have to do there. Because there are rules for town encounters that say that these always take place first. Okay. So this is recommended by day 3. So basically round 3. And yeah, I suggest we try to get maybe some points. Some experience points, maybe some items before we then enter these towns. Okay, so the first day we have to stay in Markarth. This is our starting location, and that means we will have a town encounter there on our first day. You know, honestly, I wish this would be organized a little bit different. That's a little bit of a criticism here. So that you basically maybe have a complete quest book for all the quest encounters where they are all together, and then you have the towns in another book. Because it would be really good if we could now simply put this aside and then we would remember what's going on here. But instead, we now have to go back to the town, and so this was this Markarth, and yeah, okay. But at least we can leave it like this, so we don't have to completely close it. So. Built by the now departed Dwemer, Markarth has long served as capital of the Reach. Though Reach folk have a contentious relationship with cities and nurture a healthy mistrust of outsiders, Markarth serves as one of the primary connections between the region and the outside world. So this is a Reach folk stronghold. If this town is under siege, level 20 Briarheart becomes a companion controlled by the party for this clash. Oh. Okay, and if you are larger, if the party is larger, then it's a weaker companion. Fine. So now first we have to build the marketplace. So we are allowed to draw 4 common items and 1 legendary item. Okay, so we have here, yeah, these are 4 common items. So let's see what we find here. Wow, that is already a nice weapon. A dwarven battle axe, but that's not really a weapon we want to use. This needs a specific battle form, and I don't know if I want to use that form. But okay, we'll see. We have the Glyph of Bracing. Enchant the companion in play. Yeah, so we need a companion to actually use that. Iron Greatsword. That's another one which needs this massive battle form here. Not really what we want. Oh, and some Morak tongue bracers. Some armor. That sounds interesting. I might want to get that. After an adjacent enemy engages you, deal 1 damage to that enemy. This damage ignores 2 defense. That's pretty cool. Now, each card also has an overtax effect, and that means we can discard the card and then use this effect here. Apply a Bane status die to the unit performing the engage. So I guess that happens in addition to the standard option here. So this is probably an item I want. And then let's see what legendary item we have. The Glyph of Prismatic Onslaught. Enchanted Adventurer. Whoa, that is great. While in Magic Stand, the Enchanted Adventurer heals for hit points equal to the damage they deal. The next time a battle ends, discard this card. So that's pretty cool. Sadly, it's only for 1 battle, but I think it's really neat, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take that. He might want to use that, the Dark Elf. Okay, so that's sweet. So this is the marketplace, and now we have to check the trainers. And you can see here there are 6 trainers available, and all skill forms are possible to train here. Not all skill, but all skill types. And we're going to draw now 6 skill forms that we can train in the city. Okay, so the first one is speech. That is a good one. I might consider that maybe. Then we have light armor. Okay. This is shadow. That's also really interesting for the rogue. This is summoning Daedra, which is some kind of demon, I think. Already a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Another speech. I think you actually take both of them, so both guys could technically train it. And the last one is... okay, that is some kind of combat. I think that's heavy armor, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. What is this? Oh, I think that just fell out of the bag. So now in Markarth we have each adventurer has 2 town actions. So we could either go here. So the different actions is we can simply visit these these locations. So the Markarth Mercantile, we can simply go there and take one of these items as an action. There is no currency or something. You don't have to spend money. You simply take the stuff. We could go to a trainer and we could gain one of these skill line markers. Now that does not give us dice for that skill line. We cannot immediately use it. We just take the marker, place it somewhere here, and then when we gain XP, we could trade these XP for dice in any of our skill lines. We could go to the inn, the Hunter's Repose. That would allow us to heal. I don't want to go there for the moment because I'm not injured. We have a quest board that will allow us to draw 2 side quest cards and pick one. We have a guild kiosk that would allow us to do this reconnoiter, so we could gain information about the next quests. And then we have an alchemy station. Now it's possible that if we had some potions, we could basically refill these potions on the alchemy station. But we don't have them. And then the town square, there is an underhall smithy. Discard. Oh, that's interesting. Discard a weapon to search the legendary deck and gain the first legendary weapon that shares the same battle form as the weapon you discarded. Then shuffle the deck. Now look at that. That's actually pretty cool. Technically, we could immediately... That's really interesting. We could basically take these two weapons with two of our actions, and then we could go both to the smithy and make these legendary weapons, and that would already be enough to bribe the witnesses in one of these cities. Now that sounds actually like a pretty good option. You know, I think that's actually exactly what I want to do. I was lucky that I found two weapons here during my first draw. So everybody goes in here, and then we simply use the other two town actions to exchange these for legendary weapons. So I'm going to go through this deck and find some weapons there. Okay, so we found these. We now have these two legendary weapons here, and we can simply place them here in the backpack of the magician. It's just, we could place it maybe underneath here. So just like this. Great. And then we kind of we're basically done with our town actions for the day. So these go back in here. I'm going to place them at the back here. So just like this, so that I remember. So this is basically a discard pile simply here on the back. And I mean, of course, we couldn't do anything to improve our heroes for the moment. All these markers go back into the bag. But on the other hand, we basically already more or less fulfilled our action. So that's kind of cool, our quest. So we want to bribe the witnesses. Now, yeah, that doesn't really help Karth Woston. I don't know. You know, I'm thinking about. Okay, anyway, let's start the next day. This is the end of the first day, and there's basically nothing else happening. We didn't get any experience points that we could spend. Nothing exciting, obviously. So now we go to the new day, and so let's take this now for the first time. New day phase. Oh, wait a second. Actually, what we have to do is we have to activate the province effect. So that would be, we have to check which towns are under siege. To do this, we draw a card from the peaceful encounter deck, and we check the symbol down here. Okay, so therefore we mark this here, and now all these cities which show this symbol here are under siege. So that means Karth Woston would be under siege, and also the Lost Valley redoubt would be under siege. So it seems we probably go to the rebels' retreat here. At least it looks like this for the moment. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this first day now. Now we go into the new day phase, and what we do is we simply turn this dial here to day number 2. Overall, we have 12 days to fulfill this adventure, and if we don't make it, we lose. Damn, I haven't even explained that yet. So our goal is, as I said, within 12 days to fulfill this adventure, but then basically a new cycle starts, and we go to a second large adventure like this. I'm not even sure if this has to be in Skyrim. I think that could also happen in another area. And again, we have 12 days to do that. And then there will be a last adventure we go through. And at the end of that adventure, we will then face a massive battle. And we better make sure that our heroes by then are strong enough to defeat that villain. Okay, so now we go to the Overland phase, and yeah, so we simply move our guys, and we can basically move up to 3 hexes, and if we want to move any further, each character has to gain 1 fatigue to move on. Okay, so I think they want us to be, or it is recommended to be in one of these cities by day 3. So I say what we do now is we move 1, 2, 3, and this is an unstable location. So if you move through one of these marked areas, nothing happens. But if you end up in one of these areas, you'll trigger the encounter. Now these are obviously towns, where you have a town encounter. These are peaceful encounters, where you draw a card from here, the blue ones. These are conflict encounters, where you draw a red card. And these are unstable locations, and we don't know what's going on there. And by the way, I actually want to move here. I think I prefer that. So if this city goes under siege, we might still have the option to move up here. Okay, and so because this is an unstable location where we are now here, we're going to have to roll a die to see what happens. Going to an unstable location has the advantage that after the encounter, you will get a bonus there. I'm just going to check that. I think you get some tenacity or something, if I'm not mistaken. Is it here? Yeah, here. If encounter at unstable landmark, each player gains 2 tenacity, success or fail. So that is a good thing. Okay, so that means we have a conflict right away. So we have to fight. So let's draw this next card here. Mud Crab Crossing. Survival in the Skyrim wastes is anything but guaranteed, and that's doubly true in the age of these Blackreach invaders. Perhaps you would do well to observe the life cycle of the lowly mud crab, which proliferates even in inhospitable climates like this one. Or at least That's what you thought when you captured this mud crab for observation. In no time at all, it became a pet and then a treasured companion. Now, as your travels are interrupted by an attack of no-good highwaymen, all you can think about is making sure Muddy is shepherded to safety as soon as possible. Oh my god. Okay. So mud crabs are a man's or mer's or beast folk's best friend. Okay, so this is going to be a clash. So we're going to have to construct this map. So let's first find the map here. So we got to remove this stuff here. Okay, so this is now the battlefield here, and you got these playmats, and they're double-sided. Sadly, this one is only one-sided. This is the starting tile, and it always has the same terrain type. So that kind of sucks. There are two of these battle mats if you have the expansion, so you have different types of terrain, which I find kind of cool. But obviously it would be nice to also have different starting tiles. Okay, so we have now deploy level 1 mud crab to hex A with +1 hit points. Okay, so you can see here the hexes. They have specific numbers and other pictures going on here. So that indicates how to set up the battle. So we got our mud crab here. And let me quickly show you how these enemy markers work. So this here on the top left, the heart, obviously is the number of hit points they have, so the life points they have. Now this one has a +1, so it has 4 life points. This here is the next one, the 1 here, is the attack range, so the blue one here. So this can only attack adjacent creatures. And then over here, this is the combat value, so this is the number of combat dice it is allowed to roll. And this here, the shield, is obviously the armor it has. So when it's hit, it can subtract 1 from the damage dealt. This symbol here indicates that it's an animal. This is the level 1. This is the target order here. And then obviously down here we have a special keyword, stalwart. So let's see what that says, what that means. And we have a long list of keywords. This is double-sided. Okay, so this unit cannot lose more than 1 hit point in a single turn. Okay, that's cool. And we take here 4 of these red chips, and they indicate the actual hit points that unit has. And then we simply place it like this, and if it takes damage, we simply remove the chips. Okay, next, we're gonna have to deploy the treasures, and just a moment, I gotta find them. Okay, we have here our treasure markers, and we have treasure locations, as you can see here. So this is a common item which is located here, and then we have down here a legendary item. Okay, then we got to deploy the enemies, and basically it says, I haven't read that, I think. Okay, the crab is a companion controlled by the party. When it is dealt damage, an adventurer adjacent to it may choose to redirect that damage to themselves. Any enemies with which would actually target anybody instead only target two enemies. This counter is failed if the mud crab is defeated. Okay, this encounter is successful if at the end of the round the mud crab and all undefeated adventurers are occupying the entrance tile. Okay, so we're gonna have to basically bring this guy in here, and that's kind of our goal here. So, so we'll see. First, we have to now deploy the enemies, and we have to create an enemy pool. And that enemy pool has a value which is doubled our experience value. So at the moment, we have an experience of 2. That means the experience value of our enemies is 4. Or the enemy pool value is 4, and we have now to find our enemies from these bags, and we have to do it in a way that we first basically draw an enemy of the highest possible type. So, for example, if we had an enemy pool of 6, we first would draw 5, and then there is only 1 left, and then we would draw another 1 enemy, right? If we would have, I don't know, 33, we would draw a 10, and then 3 1 enemies. So we have a 4, which means we simply draw 4 type 1 enemies. And we deploy them in the order shown here on the map. So we start with the 1 enemy. So the first enemy is our first type 1 enemy. That is a wolf who wants to eat our mud crab. So we place this guy here, and he has 4 life points. So we take 4 chips and place them here underneath. Okay. So next we have a wood elf bandit. He is placed here, and he's got 5 life points. Oh man. Oh fuck. This is a bit of an issue here. Oh man. Yeah, these chips, they easily slip away. So we need 2 more enemies. An Argonian bandit with 3 hit points. And that is number 3. So this guy shows up here. And then the last guy is a bristleback. And he is this kind of typical creature here for Skyrim. It shows this SK. Wow, this guy has 6 life points. And you know what? I'm going to take these markers. Will I? Nah, I don't think so. I'm going to take simply 6. I thought about using them for 5, but I don't want to do that. I only have to make change, and I can avoid that. Okay, so here we now have, this is the 4th enemy, so this guy is now placed here. Alright, and now we have to deploy our own heroes in the starting section. Now, maybe you realize that I've changed these hero sheets. Now they are exactly the same except for the picture, but she looks definitely more like a sorceress, and this guy has a shield, so he works for me well with this one hand and shield skill line as a rogue. So yeah, now we have a lady here and this guy. Okay, so we are deployed here. Now we have to determine who is going to start, first player, and for this battle, right, we can, so there is a player order, a given player order during this specific battle now, and then we can choose our starting battle form. Now I'm pretty sure she will start here in a magic form, and he probably starts in this sword form here, which makes sense with the one hand and shield ability. And yeah, so now we got to come up with some kind of plan here, how we want to do that. So one thing we have to check now is we have to go through all these special abilities. This is a bit of an issue in this game. I mean, it's part of the puzzle, right? But yeah, this is something we got to check all the time. I mean, I think eventually, if you play that for a while, you will know the most common of these abilities. But at the start, it's a little painful. So this is Enfeeble 1. So that means after these units engage, its target gains 1 light fatigue. So this is a bowman, so he has a pretty high range. Gaining fatigue is not great. So maybe killing this guy early sounds already like a good choice. Riposte, I don't know how to spell that, I don't know what that means either. But okay, the wolf has this riposte ability. Each turn, the first time this unit is dealt damage by an adjacent opposing unit, this unit will then deal 2 damage back, so long as it was not defeated. Okay, so if we kill this guy with a single hit, he doesn't do that. Otherwise, he deals 2 damage back, which is kind of rough. The Wood Elf Bandit will dodge. When this unit is engaged by an opposing unit, prevent damage dealt to this unit equal to the number of rolled skill dice that do not deal damage. Alright? And then eventually we got the Chiblane ability for the Bristleback. No, it's Chilblaine. After this unit is engaged by an adventurer who is not using a weapon, that adventurer gains light fatigue equal to the number, the party size. Oh man. Okay, we don't have any weapons. But okay, now we don't have to kill these people, right? That's something we have to keep in mind. We just have to get the crab over here. So, yeah, let's figure out a way to do that. Companions have a movement of 2 per turn. So basically, we need like 4 turns or something to get the crab there. Okay, so after some, well, analysis, whatever you want to call it, of this situation, I think it's actually a pretty good one, because now this guy here, for the moment, is pretty much safe. These guys will not attack him, they will attack us, because we are closer. These guys would attack him in the moment, but both of them only roll a single combat die. and basically only one side of the enemy combat dice would do 2 damage. All the other sides only do 1 or none. And this guy already has 1 armor. So basically you could say only one of the combat dice, there's only a 1 in 6 chance that one of these 2 creatures will deal damage to this guy at all. So it's really not that likely. And you could argue that this crab is actually more dangerous to these guys. Maybe not to him. He will fight back, right? He's got that. If he gets attacked by someone who doesn't use a weapon, he will deal damage back to that creature. So the mud crab probably don't want to attack him. But he is actually more in danger of the crab than the other way around, because he has 0 armor. So it's much more likely that the crab would deal damage to him than the other way around. So for the moment, I have a feeling that I actually wanna take care of these guys here, maybe especially of the wolf. He has the highest attack value, so you could argue he is probably the most dangerous one. And so this is the guy I probably want to try to kill during the first turn. Man, I could have actually considered using these legendary weapons. You know, I just carry them around. The problem is you cannot, during battle, unpack these weapons. So they are in my backpack, but yeah, but I don't okay, anyway. So I'm gonna give this beautiful first player token to the Dark Elf, and I want to do a magic attack against this guy here. Now what you can do is you can basically do more or less unlimited actions, but there are restrictions. So I could move a maximum of 2 times, and I can move as many spaces as I have stamina. So I'm a little slow with the Dark Elf here. I can only move 2 spaces, or maybe 4, but if I want to move twice, I'm not allowed to engage. I'm not allowed to attack. So I can only attack and then just move once. I could attack multiple times, but I need dice to do that. And whenever I attack after the first attack, I would gain a fatigue cube, which is not a good thing. But technically you could attack a ton of times if you have the dice to do that. So apart from that, I could use my abilities, my class ability as a sorcerer, but I have to spend tenacity, which is indicated here, how much I have to spend. So 1 tenacity for the power surge, 2 tenacity for the lightning splash, and so on. But it says here, if you start your turn in magic stance or in a magic battle form, gain 1 tenacity. So right now I started my turn in this form, so I already get 1 tenacity. So that's cool. And yeah, so we got these special options. So I could, for example, use the power surge, spend any amount of additional tenacity. Well, so I cannot use it because I only have 1 to activate that whole thing. Okay, so right now I basically, all I can do is I could either roll the combat dice, but I have to be adjacent to use them, or these dice here. Okay, so I think what I want to do is I'm going to use my 2 force shock dice, basically attack the wolf here. Yeah, so we're gonna roll and then we'll see what happens, right? Okay, that is not... What? That's bad. Yeah, that was not what I wanted at all. That was a pretty bad start. Okay, yeah, that backfired. Okay, so first of all, that is not... I mean, that's okay. We gain another tenacity. So we now have 2 tenacity. And then this one here, that's only a single side of the die. Gain 2 tenacity and deal 1 true damage to any one adventurer. Okay, it's not that bad. I mean, that means I'm going to give this guy... He's got 5 hit points, so he gets a damage here. He was in the way of this whole action, so I'm going to remove this chip. But I get 2 tenacity from that, so that's cool. So I'm now sitting at 4 tenacity. Okay, so that's all that happened. This guy was not affected by this weird action. I guess he is a little surprised what's going on over there on this tile. And now these 2 dice, after using them, they will now be placed here in this cooldown track. And you can see we have a cooldown value of 2. So in the next turn, at the start of the turn, we are allowed to take these 2 dice here, the 2 leftmost dice, and make them available again. So next turn we can roll these dice again. By the way, this magic stat shows the maximum number of dice we could roll during a magic attack. So we could have rolled up to 3 dice, but we only have 2 available. Okay, so now we can see what we can do with these 4 tenacity that we have. Now all this stuff here is available now, so maybe we can kill the wolf. Let me see. Okay, so this stuff here, most of these are actually kind of healing spells. So that's not really that helpful at the moment. I could use the Dark Exchange. I mean, yeah, why not? Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't want to do that. On the other hand, the problem is you can have a maximum of 5 tenacity. So if I would roll something similar again next turn, but maybe I should wait a little longer. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so that didn't work out too well. So I'm going to do nothing anymore here. I think that's the end of my turn. That's not great. Okay. So now let's see if the Argonian can be more successful here. Well, actually, you know what? I could move. I think I want to move back 1 space. I could even move back 2 spaces. I can move up to 2 spaces, up to my number of stamina. I already mentioned that. So if I move back 2 spaces, I'm out of range of this Argonian bandit. He has got a range of 3, so he's not going to attack me. And I'm also out of range of the wolf. The wolf would move 2 spaces, and then he attacks an adjacent enemy. So in this way, Yeah, I think I want to do that. I'm kind of safe here for now. So now let's see what the Argonian can do. Okay, so yeah, he has these dice here. Huh. So I might consider not sure if I want to attack the bandit or the wolf. Now the wolf is dangerous because if he is attacked from adjacent, wait a second, he's got that riposte thing going. That would mean he would deal 2 damage, yeah, by an adjacent opposing unit. Now that is dangerous. I think I do not want to attack the wolf. I'm considering attacking this bandit here. So I gotta move adjacent to him because I don't have any ranged options. So I'm gonna move here, 1, 2. And yeah, so I can roll up to 3 dice. Do I want to roll all my dice? Yeah, why not? So we are in this sword stance. So that means that basically I will deal as much damage as indicated here on this lower right corner of the dice, and that also applies to these dice here. The combat dice, it's pretty much the same thing, but I can then use the brown dice and place them in an active slot. You'll see. So if we're lucky, I might be able to kill this guy. Yeah, I did. Awesome. I dealt 4 damage. That is really great. So the guy has 1 shield, so he takes 3 damage, and therefore he's got exactly 3 life points. We managed to kill this guy. Now this is simply placed here. We don't get any reward or something for killing this guy. At the end, we gain a reward for succeeding in the mission, right? But you don't get anything out of killing these guys. But that was already pretty good. So he's not going to attack me next turn. That's great. And now I can use these 2 dice here, and because they have an A, that means they are placed in my active slots. So if you place them here, deal this amount of damage to your target, so that's what we already did. And then when you are dealt damage by an enemy, you may exhaust this die to prevent that number of damage. Okay, so when we get attacked, we can use one of these dice, place them in the cooldown, and prevent the damage. So this is basically using our shield, and this die here now goes down to the cooldown. And we can use this again next turn. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much what happened here. This is the end of the turns of our 2 adventurers. We can move this guy, and we can move him 2 spaces. And then he could even attack. And you know, this is what I want to do. I'm simply going to move 1, 2. I'm going to move down here. And I'm going to attack this Wood Elf bandit. Now, I got 1 die. And I got to use these here. These are the enemy combat dice. I think, although I'm not sure. Maybe I don't think this is actually a difference here. They're pretty much the same as the standard combat dice, I think, except that they do not show a tenacity, but a blank. So yeah, I'm going to attack this dude now. Okay, so we do 1 damage. He has no He has no shield, so therefore he takes a wound. And yeah, that's what the crab does. No, wait a minute, we have a dodge, so there might be prevent damage dealt to this unit equal to the number of rolled skill dice that do not deal damage. Well, okay, so that is not of interest here. Okay, so now we're gonna activate the enemies, and yeah, so this is not gonna be a big deal, I think. So we have to start with the highest value enemy, but they're all of a value of 1. So now I think we are free to choose which one attacks first. And we can simply start here with the bristleback, for example. And he will attack the mud crab. And they will always attack the closest unit and within range. And this number here, that indicates, for example, here, there you have 2 of these symbols. That indicates how many targets in range the unit will attack. So this guy will only attack a single unit in range. He don't have to move. He is already adjacent to that guy. So he simply rolls a single die, and as long as he doesn't roll a 2, nothing happens. Okay, so that is no damage against the mud crab. Then the wood elf bandit does the same thing. He doesn't move because he is already within range of a unit. So he also rolls simply a single die. Same thing, no effect here. Wow, the mud crab is really lucky. And now the wolf will attack. And he will move now up to 2 spaces. All the enemies move up to 2 spaces. And yeah, he's going to go after the closest enemy. So he moves now here. He is in range. He has to be adjacent to attack that guy. And he's going to roll 2 dice. So 2 black dice. Okay, so he has now twice a 1, so he would deal 2 damage. I'm going to take this die here and bring it down here, and now I can prevent these 2 damage by using my shield or whatever. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it now. So that was the end of the first turn, and now we go into the second turn, and we're going to flip this die here, and if this die reaches the 6, then we have to start to take fatigue, because the combat goes on for so long that we will take a fatigue die at the start of each combat round. Okay, so let's see, I don't want to forget anything. We have here player aid for the combat rounds, which is extremely helpful. Yeah, okay. So yeah, good. Yeah, fine. So now we start again with the dark elf. And first we have a recovery phase. That means I can simply take these 2 dice from the cooldown, because my cooldown value is 2, and place them back in the available slots. And now again we do the actions. So I want to try to kill this stupid wolf again. So again I'm going to use my 2 dice. We are in a range of 3. I got 3 magic value, so I can attack him with my 2 dice again, with my 3 dice, and I get another tenacity because I start the turn in a magic battle form. And as a sorcerer, that gives me 1 tenacity. Now I'm considering using some magic here. So because if I would roll now a result which would give me tenacity, I could not gain more than the 5 that I already have. So therefore, I think I want to use this Dark Exchange spell that costs 3 tenacity. So we go back to 2 here. And that allows me now remove 1 hit point from yourself and from any unit in range. Add both chips to any other unit in range. And that may exceed the health stat of that other unit. So therefore, I'm going to give away 1 of my health, and I'm going to remove 1 of this health, and I'm going to give them both to the Argonian. That's cool. Okay, and now I'm going to try again the Force Shock. Okay, so yeah, that means we get another tenacity. 5, yeah. So we had 3. And then here, this one is deal 4 damage to your target and 1 true damage to any one adventurer. Okay, so that means one of the guys, he is fully in the way of the spell, basically. So he has to take a damage. So that means we killed the wolf, which is really cool, and he's blown away by that Force Shock. So I still have to practice a little bit with that. So that means he also takes a damage. And the true damage means that this is a damage that cannot be blocked. So I think he cannot use this, for example, to block this, if I'm not mistaken here. But okay, I mean, he's in a good shape anyway. Okay, so these were these 2 dice. They go back in the cooldown, and now I can move 2 spaces. So I'm going to move here, I guess. Okay, so now we're going to activate the Mudcrab again, our companion. He always activates after we activate it. And now the thing is, I think, if I understand that right, companions have to move first and then can engage. Their turns are not as flexible as our turns. So therefore, I could either remain here and attack the wood elf, or I can simply move. And I think I'm going to just do that. I'm simply going to move here. Maybe I'm going to move here. 2 spaces, and that's all I do. Okay, cool. And now we got to activate the other guys. So we start again with the wood elf bandit. And I'm going to move him. I wonder if I can actually move him in a way that I can block the other guy. Is that legal, or do you have to? I mean, in many games you have to do it in a way that you basically work for an advantage for the AI. But I could see maybe here you are allowed to do things like that. I'm going to check that. Okay, so it actually seems that I can decide if this guy moves into this hex or into this hex. Now the difference is that if he moves here, then this unit here cannot reach the mud crab. Yeah, so I mean, why not, right? I think I want to move this guy here. And then I can move this guy 2 spaces to the closest unit, which is the mud crab again. So I can move him here. I don't have to move him, for example, here towards me. I can just, the closest enemy is this guy. So the mud crab moves here. Now it's 2 spaces away, which is the same as if it would move here. But I think it's to my advantage if it's back there. So yeah, I can make these choices if I understand that right. But actually, technically, before this guy moves, I have to attack here with the wood elf bandit. I have to attack the mud crab again. Okay, this is actually 2 damage. So now the mud crab takes a damage, has a armor of 1, but it will take a damage now. And now this guy activates, and there is no enemy within reach of his. Okay. Okay, so I took a short break now from the game, and now that I'm coming back, I'm thinking I might have actually forgotten the activation of this guy in the last turn. I'm not sure anymore. I'm not going to do it now, but it kind of seems I killed that guy here. And then what did I do in the second turn? In the first turn I killed that bowman. I think I didn't do anything in the second turn. But okay. Anyway, it's not that. I'm doing fine. It's not a big deal here. Okay, so let's go into the third turn of the combat now. And it really seems everything is under control. So we're going to start again with her. And now, I think what I want to do is, I want to grab this legendary item here. But that's my long-term goal basically. But first I want to kill this guy here. Let's see if I can do that. If I move down here, so first I can actually recover this, and I get another tenacity because I'm still in this magic combat form. And yeah, so I moved here, and now I can again attack, and I will attack the wood elf bandit now with my what was that? With my force shock. Let's see what we can do. Okay. So that is, this one here simply says deal 2 damage to your target. Okay, so I'm going to remove 2. He has no armor, so this simply goes away. And then I got this one, and that says gain 2 tenacity. And we're actually now at the point where I have too much, which kind of sucks. I should have known that. I should have spent tenacity maybe before. And deal 1 true damage to any one adventurer. So I'm going to deal a damage to the other guy. Okay, and that's it. Now let's see if I can. I basically want to use my tenacity now, because otherwise the extra tenacity next turn would be a waste. Huh. Now the Dark Exchange again will allow me to get rid of another one here. Oh, wait a minute. He actually has the dodge going on. Maybe I was wrong here. Dodge? When this unit is engaged by an opposing unit, prevent damage. But I think I did... No, yeah, that's actually true. Ah, okay. That's a thing here. Prevent damage dealt to this unit equal to the number of rolled skill dice that do not deal damage. So therefore, I only deal 1 damage because the other... Ah, that's an interesting question. Actually, no, I don't think so. The other skill dice also deals damage, but not to that unit. But that's not quite clear from what is written here. It just says if there's another skill die that does not deal damage, I don't know. I think I mean I deal damage. It's just to this guy. So I think the dodge activity is the dodge skill does not work here. I could use, I'm actually thinking about doing this. Yeah, I want to use my dynamic ability. Once per battle, during your turn, recover any 4 skill dice from your cooldown track, replacing each with light fatigue. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to take these dice back. Yeah, why not? So I'm going to take them back, and that now gives me a fatigue. And this is something we haven't had until now. So these gray dice here, with all blank sides, this is fatigue. And that is simply blocking my cooldown. So fatigue goes to the leftmost space, which is free. So when next time I recover, I can only remove these, but I cannot remove any other dice that should be placed here. However, what I can do now is I can use my power surge. So I'm going to spend 1 tenacity to do that. Spend any amount of additional tenacity. Choose an adventurer to recover the leftmost number of dice from their cooldown track equal to the additional amount spent. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend overall 3 tenacity. 1, 2, 3. And that means this fatigue goes away. I think that recover also means fatigue. Or does it just mean skill dice? That's something I have to check. Okay, I believe that I don't know, man, dice. I don't know, actually. I mean, usually recovering applies to skill dice most of the time. But when it says the leftmost number of dice, that feels... It says the leftmost number, so I think you can actually remove any type of dice. No, wait a second. Wait a second. Spend any amount of additional tenacity. Choose an adventurer to recover the leftmost number of dice from their cooldown track equal to the additional amount spent. Yeah, I think I can also simply remove fatigue here. So therefore, I spent 3 dice and I removed my fatigue. And now I can engage a second time if I take 1 light fatigue. So I'm going to take another fatigue and I'm going to engage again. So I'm going to use again my 2 dice. Okay, yeah, so let's see what that is. Deal 4 damage to your target and 1 true damage to any one adventurer. Okay, so now we gotta see, because... So first of all, this guy is now killed. There's no question about that. This force shock is a little dangerous, though. So he is done. Then I gotta deal 1 adventurer 1 true damage. So I'm thinking about giving that damage. Thinking about giving that damage to me, actually. Okay. And then I gain 2 tenacity again. And deal another damage to any one adventurer. Holy moly. Yeah, okay. So, you know, I think I want to... It's a bit tough. Nah, I think that's okay. I think I'm going to take that also. Yeah, I want to take that too. And then I'm going to trigger my blood magic for 4 tenacity. So this goes completely down. Each adventurer in play heals to full hit points, then gains light fatigue equal to the amount of hit points healed. Light fatigue that cannot be placed does not generate over fatigue. Okay, so now I can heal 3 hit points. Now these go down here and I gain 3 light fatigue. I mean, that is quite a bit, but I don't know, man, that's pretty rough. Maybe I should not do that. You know, I want to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure if I want to take these 3 fatigue. I think I'm not going to do that. So I was at 3, right? No, I did the blood magic. I was at 4. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to stay down with a single life point. It's a bit risky, but I think I'm okay. I'm not planning to fight anymore during this battle. So I guess that's okay for now. And yeah, I'm going to leave that here. And now we're going to see the Argonian, and he will move and try to open this cache here. So 1, 2, and now just by moving above this cache, he can now try to open this. Now the way that works is we have here this card for a common item, and you see these 3 numbers. Now he's got to do a lockpick check. So he's going to grab these 3 6-sided dice, just standard 6-sided dice, to do this check. He's got 3 attempts to roll a 4, a 5, and a 3. What he can do is he can take fatigue to turn any die basically by 1 to decrease or increase the result by 1, and he can do this multiple times. So I'm going to show you. Okay, so that's not so great. What I'm going to do is I think I want to take 1 fatigue. To make this thing a 5. All right. So I'm going to put this aside, and in my second attempt, I'm only going to roll these 2 now. And that was really bad. And I'm going to roll again. Okay, so that is a 4. Yeah, that sucks. I could take a ton of fatigue to make this a 5, but honestly, I don't want to do that. So that sucked. Didn't work out. I lost 1 fatigue, and so no, I'm not going to spend more fatigue here. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff. Yeah, I'm basically just losing this. Couldn't open that, and it just goes away now. That's obviously a shame, but all right. So we're going to place that here. And now I can continue my movement. I moved 2 spaces, and I want to move 1, 2. Actually, I think I want to move here. I want to lure this guy toward me. I don't want to get her into any trouble. So I'm just going to move here, and that's all I do. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Okay, great. And then this guy could move. I'm not even sure if I want him to move. Yeah, why not? I'm going to move him. I think I'm going to just move him 1 space, and then he can move within 1 space, within 1 turn over here. So yeah, I think that's fine. And now last, this guy will activate the bristleback, and he just moves simply here and attacks the Argonian. And that should not be a big deal, I hope at least. Okay, that is nothing at all, so we're good. And we still had 1 shield over here, so yeah, we're good there. And that's the end of that turn. Okay, so we go to turn 4. And now basically all I want to do is I want to grab this legendary item here, and that's pretty much it, right? It would be great to get this. So I'm going to move her again, 1, 2. Oh, before I actually do this, I can recover 2 dice. So the fatigue goes away. One of these guys goes away, and I go here to 5. Darn, I really would love to heal, but I think the only way I can do this is with the blood magic. And I really wonder if I should do it, maybe. You know, I want to do that. I'm going to spend 4. I'm going to heal. Why not? I'm going to heal 3 hit points. And this guy heals 1. We have to all heal to our full hit points with the blood magic. That gives him 1 fatigue, and she gets 3 fatigue. All right, but I think that's actually okay. So now I'm going to move 2 spaces to here, and now I gotta try to open this thing. Now this is even harder. So the way this works with a legendary item is I have 4 attempts instead of 3, but first of all, I gotta roll this specifically marked number here, which is a 5. And I think I cannot use my fatigue to actually do this if I'm not mistaken. So let's see here. Okay, I rolled a 5. That is very good. So that was my first attempt. And now I can use this again. So this is basically solved. This is the first issue. And now I have 3 more attempts to roll a 6, a 1, and a 2. So let's do that. Oh, that is fantastic. So we got a 1 and a 2. That's great. We can put that aside. Now I got 2 more attempts to get a 6. That was bad. Let's hope for a good one. Yeah! Wow, that was amazing. I did not have to take any fatigue to do that. That was fantastic. Let's see what we get. Man, okay, that's the Tranquility Pale Ale. Alcohol. Discard this item. Then adventurers may remove a collective total of up to 10 fatigue dice from their cooldown tracks. Wow, I mean, this is insane, right? That's really, really powerful. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to put that in my backpack, though. Pretty sure we're not going to use that right now. This is really a cool item. You can choose if you get things, if you want to place them in your backpack or in your active slot. You can have up to 4 items in your backpack, and you can have up to 4 items in your active slots. Okay, so that was pretty neat. Really good. Okay, so this goes away. And yeah, we're doing fine. And now it's this guy. And honestly, I don't really want to fight this dude simply because I don't want to risk taking the 2 damage from this Chilblain attack. So what I want to do is I'm just going to move up here and lure him away from the wizard, and that's pretty much it. And now I will just move this guy here. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I can move up to 6. You know, I'm going to move him here, I guess. And then this guy follows the Argonian, tries to do another attack here. And that is 2 damage. Okay, so I'm going to use... Oh, actually, you know what? I was allowed to remove these 2 dice. I forgot my recovery phase here. Okay, so I'm going to remove this one. That prevents 1 damage. You know what? I got the Argonian resistance. Once per battle, when you would be dealt damage, prevent all of that damage. I'm going to do that here. There's no reason to take that wound for me. So yeah, I'm just going to use my Argonian resistance. And I'm fine here. Okay, and this is pretty much it for this turn. So now we go into turn 5. And in the next turn we have to take over fatigue. So that is probably going to happen. Sadly, she cannot make it quite here. Maybe we got some crazy special ability, but I don't think so. I don't think I have anything that allows me to move an additional space. So first of all, I'm allowed to recover my 2 dice here. Yeah, sadly, I can't do that. But I get 1 tenacity because I'm in this magic stand. Yeah, and now what I can do is I can simply run basically 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to move here toward the exit. Now it's this guy. He can run up to 6 spaces because he's got a stamina of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he moves here, and yeah, I mean the crab simply moves here. And now we activate this guy. He's only allowed to move up to 2 spaces. 1, 2. So he goes here. And there is actually still yeah, well, I might maybe take... Yeah, okay, I get an attack from this guy eventually. Okay, this is it. Now we go to the last turn. This is now turn number 6, and now I will take a fatigue. We all take a fatigue. But, of course, I can recover 2 fatigue at the start of the turn. And then I'm going to move 2 spaces. 1, 2. And this guy can also recover 2 fatigue. And then, you know what? I'm going to move the crab 1 space here. So she takes now the attack. And then this guy moves here and will attack with a single die against the crab. Nothing happened. And now it's the end of the turn, and we fulfilled this mission. You know, one problem is it's not that easy to pick up these cards. So yeah, the encounter is successful if at the end of a round the mud crab and all undefeated adventurers are occupying the entrance tile. So this is the case. Okay, so that ends the battle. Okay, now let's see. End of battle. Remove bonus hit points and any hit points exceeding adventurer's maximum. So this is not the case. Remove and exhaust any dice in active slots. So that means this die goes now here, down here to the cooldown track. Recover all drained skill dice. Well, we don't have that. Keep any dice in cooldown, so they are not removed now. Disassemble battle map. Okay, return enemies to the backs. So this guy goes away, and we throw him simply back in here, and also all these guys. Okay, also this guy goes away, we don't need him anymore. The crab. Nice. And now these go back here, they keep their actual life points, and we're good. So now we go to the reward phase. So from this encounter we will get 2 experience. Each of the guys gets 2 experience. So this goes here, and this goes here, and that means also that we have to turn this dial up by 2, so from 2 to 4 experience, and now we got to multiply that when we build our next enemy pool, so the next combat will be harder. All right. If encounter at an unstable landmark, and that was the case, if you take a look here, we've been here at this unstable landmark. So we gain 2 tenacity for that. That's kind of cool. All right. And then gain advancement by spending XP. So, okay, now I can get additional stats. I can improve my stats. So my health point, my magicka, my stamina, or I could improve my skill lines by getting additional dice. Now the number of XP that I have to spend is shown here on the player mat. So if I want to improve this and gain additional health, I have to spend 1, again 1, then 2, if I did all these. Now, if I come from the other side and I want to improve this, for example, if I would get another combat die, then the black numbers here count, and I have to spend 1 and then 2. But if I came from this side and I want to make this, for example, another magicka, I would have to spend 3 experience and not 1. So the cost depends from which side I'm coming, obviously. Okay, so I could also improve my cooldown by spending the value shown on the next step. So if I want to improve my cooldown to 3, I have to spend 3 experience to do that. I could spend 1 experience to gain 1 tenacity. I can never have more than 3 experience. I don't have to spend it now completely. I could keep something, but I can never keep more than 3. If there would be excess experience, I have to spend it on tenacity. So let me see. I think what I want to do here is I really want to have a second combat die. So I want to spend 1 experience to get an additional combat die here. Let's find these. Okay, nice. Now, if I wanted to have an additional brown die, that is the shield, the hand and shield. Obviously, I could not place that die here and just spend 1, right? I have to remember I got this die down here, so if I want to get a new die, I have to spend 2. So I cannot do that at the moment. I could now either keep the experience, maybe for later options, and I'm thinking about doing that. I could get an additional health point here, for example. I could afford that. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I can afford. I don't think I want to, though. I'm fine with 5 health for the moment. So I think I just save the experience for later time. And over here, well, 2 experience. Interesting. What do I want to do? I could buy me another stamina, for example. That would make me faster. Definitely an option. I'm pretty slow. Or I could get me maybe another one of these dice. Now I can choose. I could buy, of course, another level 1 die. But I could now also buy a level 2 die. I cannot buy a level 3 die here because you need a die of at least 1 level lower to buy a specific die. So you cannot skip a level, right? So I could buy a level 2 die here. We got either the Wall of Elements, I could apply status die to other enemies with this. But the problem is I have to drain these dice. And that means they are removed from the player map. They go away from the game basically for the rest of the battle. I don't know if I want to do that at that point. I could use the destructive touch. That's pretty cool. Defeat a level 1 enemy. Choose a level 1 or 5 enemy. Deal true damage equal to that enemy's current hit points to adventurers, divided among them as you choose. Then defeat that enemy. Huh. Defeat a level 1 enemy, 1 of 5, apply a Bane status to any one adventurer. Wow. Okay. Bane. That's not good. This unit is dealt 1 true damage at the start of each of its turns. That's pretty rough. Still, deal true damage equal to that enemy current hit points to adventurers, divided among them as you choose. I mean, that's kind of cool, right? And we got these heal actions going on here with the power surge. No, not really. Well, but we got the dark exchange and the blood magic. I kind of like that. I think that is pretty cool. But what about the wall of elements? Okay, so this gives me different possibilities now. Might be a day status. This unit cannot roll dice on the same turn as it moves, and it cannot move on the same turn it rolls a dice. At the end of this unit's turn, remove this die. Okay, I mean... Apply a maim status die. When this unit rolls combat skill dice, the total damage rolled is reduced by half, then rounded down. This effect does not apply to true damage. Now that would stay on the unit. That's kind of cool. Fear status die to 1 enemy in range. The effect of this unit's non-combat skills are ignored. This effect does not apply to skill dice already in active slots or the cooldown track. Okay. I mean, that's also not bad. It is a tough choice, honestly. You know, actually I think I want to take the wall of elements. I feel more comfortable with that. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So let's grab one of these dice here. I gotta find the right one. This is a level 2 dice, so it might be this one. Yeah, that looks like it's this one. Yeah, okay. So we place this here, and that means how can we upgrade? Have 4 enchantments active at the same time. I don't even know what an enchantment is. Okay, so actually enchantment are these glyphs that you can find enchantments are these glyphs that you can find in items. We've seen one of them in the town square. with the merchant. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to take that and we'll see how we can work with that. So, yeah, that's then, I think, the end of the reward phase. Yeah. Okay. And so we did this. I'm going to place that here. And now we go to the end of day phase. So we got to draw again a new card here. And this is the same symbol as before. So the same cities remain under siege. Nothing changes. And now we get a rest action, an automatic rest for the adventurers. So that means now we could exchange items if we wanted to do that, and we can remove one die from the cooldown. And we can also remove, or we could heal one hit point, but we're both in a good shape here. Yeah, we're both at the maximum. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of day 2. The crap is fine. And yeah, I think we're doing okay. So yeah, hope to see you in the next video. Bye.